everyone, it's Butterfly, and welcome to day 18 of Heather Carter's 31 Days of Witchcraft Challenge. And today's question is, do you use herbs and or crystals in your personal practice? If so, which are your favorites and why? I do like crystals, and I brought most of my collection. This is the little plate that I put them on when I put them out to charge under the full moon. So these are some of the ones that I have, and I think I have most of my favorites in here. So I'll probably tell you about like my top 6. So one that I like a lot is clear quartz because it's good for so many things. It's kind of like with candle magic. If you don't have a color for a specific thing, white candles will work for just about anything. I feel like clear quartz is sort of like that, and at the same time it seems to turn up and just add a little extra oomph to whatever you're doing. So that's why I like to use clear quartz in a lot of my things. And I like obsidian and black stones, like obsidian for grounding. I don't think I have one right here. I used to have this gorgeous obsidian sphere that I was practicing my scrying with, and it was so nice, but one of my kids started playing with it, so I decided to hide it to keep it safe, and then I forgot where I hid it, so I hid it from myself, and it's been missing somewhere in the house for a couple of years. But I love a stone like obsidian because those kinds of dark stones seem to absorb negative energy and take that out of your environment or away from you if you feel like it's attached to you. It absorbs it and then neutralizes it. And that's what I like about that stone. And then another one of my favorites is labradorite. Here's a piece I got from a friend of mine. And also this ring that is a present from my mom. These are labradorite. And I like labradorite because it helps with your psychic ability and it helps give clarity. Those are some things I like about this stone. And then, of course, amethyst. I love amethyst. I like purple things. So I like amethyst because it's beautiful and it's purple, but it's also good for tuning into spirit, the spirit world, higher consciousness. I feel like it's good for opening yourself up to that better, and it helps enhance psychic ability. So that's one of the reasons, or some of the reasons, that I love amethyst. And I also have a little tiny amethyst in the center of my pentacle that I always wear. So I always have some amethyst with me. And I love rose quartz. I have a couple of pieces because rose quartz, it has a love energy, and so I love I love to use this crystal for self-love, healing, for giving love to someone else and helping them to heal that way. Incorporating, anytime I want to incorporate that loving energy into a spell, I like to have some rose quartz for that. And then probably my top favorite, even though I love all of these, is selenite. And selenite was the crystal that made me not just like and appreciate crystals, but to love crystals and to be able to feel their energy. Because I had heard things and I had read things. Crystals have this energy. This crystal has this energy, and you can feel it. And I wasn't really getting it until I was going through a rough time, and a friend brought some selenite palm stones and just like held them close to me and like sort of cleansed my aura with them. And selenite is so strong, in my opinion, that was the first time that I really felt crystal energy in a clear way to me. And once I felt that, then it helped me to tune in with other ones. And I was like, oh, that's what that feels like. Okay, now I'm getting a vibe from this that I wasn't noticing before with other crystals. So those are my favorite crystals. And with herbs, I don't have as many. Not that I don't like herbs. Like, herbs are great, but I don't always have as many on hand. But for anything to do with love, I like to use roses. And I like to get, there's a little Asian grocery near our house that sells little dried rosebuds in this pretty jar just for making rose tea with, because you can just put boiling water on rosebuds and make tea, and it's a nice tea, but I like to use them in my spells and things, and like sprinkle them around a candle, maybe for love magic, or if I'm making a sachet or a powder. And even if it's not like a romantic love spell, if it's for anyone that I have love for any purpose that I want to direct love energy into, I like to use little roses. And for more specifically passionate, sexy love kinds of things, I like to also add cinnamon. I'm sure cinnamon has a bunch of magical uses. I think it's supposed to be good for prosperity and things like that too. I've used it for that. So I like cinnamon for that. Cinnamon can also be protective. So cinnamon is good for a lot of things, and it's super easy to find. So that's one of my favorites. And then sage. Definitely sage. I couldn't mention herbs without sage. And I think in the witchy community, who hasn't heard of sage and used sage? But I really love sage for clearing and cleansing the energy of anything. And it's supposed to drive away negative entities and negative energies. But what's funny is I think I have found that in the spirit world, a lot of beings don't like it. Just because there was a time when a former husband and I used to do a lot of EVP recordings. And there was a time when our home was actively haunted and there were a lot of weird things going on. And so I would smudge the house with a lot of sage. And a couple of times we thought, wouldn't it be interesting, since we do EVP recordings and download them into the computer and turn it up really loud so we can hear things later. Why don't we do that while we're smudging the house, or while I'm doing it? I would have my husband run around with the recorder. And I was doing it, and we got some interesting responses, like voices complaining, voices saying it stinks. It's like you think you're alone, but it's like there's a party in the house. And so that made me think, like, a lot of spirits on the other side, it smells kind of bad to them. Maybe some of them don't mind. Maybe the negative ones mind it especially. But there were a lot of people saying, oh, it stinks. And a fan in our house switched on by itself. So it definitely has an effect. I remember doing that too because there were very dramatic things going on. I was also saying words to tell the spirits to go away in a very dramatic fashion. And there was one that kind of laughed at me. He literally laughed. It was a male voice. And he said, wow, like kind of making fun of me. But we heard a lot of interesting things. I think I've rambled on enough about that one. But I like to use sage a lot for that kind of thing. And then sometimes what I like to do, because I feel like I keep the house closed up while I'm doing it so that the sage smoke gets really strong if it feels like that kind of day when I need that kind of thing. And then when there's enough in the house, then I open everything up and I blow it all out with the fans and the doors open and the windows open. And I feel like that just kind of kicks out just about anybody, especially anybody who's giving me problems. And then sometimes I'll follow that with a sweet herb. Like I'll go around with some sweetgrass. Sometimes I'll use like a sweet smelling incense, but sometimes I'll use just an herb like sweetgrass or something. And that's to invite back just who we want to have back. So those are some of my favorite crystals and herbs and why they're my favorites. And I think it'll be fun to learn what you guys are using and what's working for you out there. And let's see. Oh, the next one should be interesting too. So in the next one, we'll be talking about how we came to our personal paths. So I'm really looking forward to that one too. And I hope to see you then. Bye.